I just wanted to add in at the top of this that the platform I'm using to record the podcast keeps on messing about with sounds, so that's why there's been inconsistency with the intro and outro music. So sorry about that. Hello, darling avatars down here on planet Earth. How are you all doing? Feels like a little while now. Feels like a lot's happened since we last communicated. I hope things are going well for you. I hope that it's, as always, a peaceful, blissful ride into expansion. And welcome to this episode on the Cancer New Moon for 2022. That's the right year, isn't it? So, yeah, we're looking at the end of June, beginning of July 2022. And, interesting energy on the way. What else can I say, really? Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I'm always really interested to hear your feedback and your experiences. And we've just got back from most amazing dieta, and we've got plans in the books for the 14th of September. Arrive here in Peru and head out on the 15th. So if you're interested in that, there'll be flower bath, tobacco initiation, ayahuasca, Kambo, possibly painting and music lessons. It's just going to be so beautiful, and it would be amazing to have you there if you feel the call. So please reach out if you feel that that's right. You can see loads of photos and all that stuff on Instagram, Shamanic Heart Space. Yeah, and email me if you have any questions. We can set up a little Zoom call when I'm not in the jungle. And that's Nancy at shamanicheartspace.org. All right, sweet things. I wish you all the best for this new moon energy and going ahead. We're always connected. You're always loved and supported. And also got the new moon ceremony online on Wednesday the 29th of June, 7:30 p.m. UK time, 1:30 Lima time. So you can get tickets on Eventbrite or reach out, and I will get back to you at the end of the podcast. Enjoy. All right, so there's some really nice newness on the way. So as I said, there's a bit of this nice downtime as the energy will begin to build up in July. All right, so it's a good time to consider your patterns, your triggers, even your conditioning from way back. And whatever comes up, comes up. If you feel angry about that, or sad or whatever, hey, it comes up. And just allow yourself to be in it and just breathe through it, let it go. None of this is anybody's fault, you know. The time for blaming really needs to be over. It's like, and especially where conditioning is concerned. A fish doesn't know it's in water, right? If no one's told it it's in water. If no one said, hey, you're in a fish tank or you're in a stream surrounded by water, it doesn't know. I didn't know that about air and stuff until anybody told me, you know. So you can't blame yourself for any conditioning that's happening, any I don't know, lies that have been told since, you know, maybe a bit of a reactive thing to say, but you know, just don't blame yourself. You don't need to blame anybody. Just release it. Sit with yourself. Just thinking, just being, alone time. you've always known things to be a certain way, you just simply don't know what you don't know. So just let your own answers percolate and come to the surface for you. And then through that process, you can start to reframe your story. This is one way plant medicines can be really helpful to people who are finding it perhaps a struggle to let go of trauma, and they don't know what to do with that pain and that trauma and that story that's been created around it. And plant medicines can take you into that and help you to essentially reframe it, let it go, and then there's a sort of rebirth and a reinvention process that can take place. So you can dive into that now. The energy is there. That looking at the things maybe that you didn't want to look at before, see it from a different perspective, and reframe that story and reinvent yourself. So how would you have turned out if that thing in the past had been different, if that child had got what it needed? Who would you have been now? And start being that. And so instead of giving your energy to feeding the, you know, the lower, darker energies of blame and pain and all of those things, which are all valid and part of this journey, you start to feed the other wolf. Is that parable about the two wolves? Which one are you going to feed? So yeah, where's your energy going? Where do you want it to go? Who are you spending time with? What feels good to you and what feels bad to you, and doing more of what feels good. Being aware of the food that you're putting in the body, being aware of what kinds of music you're listening to, what you're watching, who you're hanging out with. So when you focus on what you enjoy and feel safe, you can start to open up more, and then new avenues will appear. So where do you like to be? Who do you like to be with? And put the intention out there that that's where you want to be. I just love being in bed, whether it's in a house or in a tambo. Like I think bed's my natural habitat. I didn't know that for years. Like, yeah, bed. I could just do anything from bed. Look at the world, think, sleep. Yeah, so when you focus on what you enjoy, the avenues will appear, the new adventures will appear, maybe traveling, maybe more exciting work. That feels really exciting. I've got goosebumps about that for everybody. Okay. Okay, starseed imagery. Starseed, however you identify, light worker, rainbow child, whatever it is, human avatar. But I'm just going to, for the sake of it, use the word starseed. So a lot of starseeds are here to show me DNA, one sec. Okay, so a lot of us came back at this time. Well, this is the message I got anyway, wacky as it may or may not sound. Right, so a lot of us came back now kind of to help. So a lot of us were retired, retired souls, because we were tired. And we came back for whatever reason to help with the ascension of the earth, whatever. And part of that job was breaking ancestral patterns. So that's why things can potentially feel more difficult. That process of awakening as a human, whatever age or stage you're at in your life, is a difficult one. Sorry to use the trope of the Matrix and Neo waking up, but it's the best example we've got in popular culture. It's a painful process. You feel like you've been lied to. You go through a range of emotions, grief, all the rest of it, and you feel like You don't belong anywhere, all of that. And then on top of that, you're also breaking ancestral patterns. So that means maybe things that have come through your lineage, through the blood, through behavior, through DNA, whatever. You are the the where the chain breaks. The buck stops with you. This can be addiction, yeah, genetics, traditions, conditions, expectations. And so this can bring up stuff now around feeling loved or unloved, accepted or rejected, understood or misunderstood, or just not understood. There can be, loggerheads. I see two stags fighting here, because maybe there was a belief in this human conditioned part of you that was like, I have to do this, or I have to be this to be loved and lovable and accepted. And so that can be a tricky energy to navigate. But you've probably got that rebellious seed inside of you, and it's there for a reason. So, allow that part of yourself to emerge when the time is right for you, where you do stand up and you are counted. And love yourself, give to yourself, love and give to yourself unconditionally. Don't, I was going to say, don't worry about, what your parents think, blah. It's not that easy. I know it's not that easy, but it's a process. And if you can love and give to yourself unconditionally, that process will be a bit easier. And then a path will appear, your direction will appear with this newfound confidence and priorities. So this is a real initiation opportunity once more within you. I mean, gosh, we're moving so fast through these initiations, right? So it's up to you how you want to proceed. You don't have to do any of this stuff. You can ignore all of it, or maybe you're further down the line than all this anyway. I'm just channeling what's coming through. So part of this is I guess moving away from terminology such as trigger, such as healing, because it implies, though they can imply that there's something kind of wrong with you, but there isn't. So yeah, then that's why I like to try and use the word initiation and opportunities. So, things coming up that are teaching you not to react. And maybe this is an opportunity to overcome some kind of fear, long-held fear or phobia. And you're going to realize how strong you are and how much light there is inside you and how extraordinary and valid you are. Like, this has been coming to me a lot recently. Thanks, guys, for reminding me. The last part of the hero's journey, they tend to have to do it alone. Like, they have to prove something to themselves for that last bit. And that's where their confidence comes from. It could be the same for you. So, with all of this going on, of course, the ego might be screaming and throwing a strop here at checkpoint ego. Hey, checkpoint ego, we're leaving the comfort zone. But making friends with that ego is just trying to protect you from what it's always known. It's good to leave the comfort zone. I remember saying a while ago, I don't even remember what the comfort zone was like. Maybe you feel like that too. Anyway, you can never leave the comfort zone. It's inside of you, right? Home is inside. It's in you. And everything that's going on around you is is your projection, and it's a reflection of your inner world. So where there are things that you feel are deficit or pain or whatever, there are points for you to look at your life, and that can be amazing. Anando's just walked in. Anando, say hello. Hola. Oh, he blew you a kiss. All right, so remember, solutions always come. Ever notice that life has a funny way of working out? There is a design to it all. Yeah, it's quite fun when you can step back far enough and realize, oh yeah, hey, things always do work out. So putting your energy into that. All right, so kind of wrapping up then. At this time, your intuition is really important. Remember to trust, even though you don't necessarily have all the information that you might want to proceed. Trust it, baby. I already know actually where this is showing up in my life. So do you? Question for you, do you? Even you don't have all the bits that you want, have you got it in you to trust that this feels like the right thing to do? So just do it. And remember, there is more than what your five senses, six senses, however many senses you have. There's more than that. As humans, we are bridges between worlds and dimensions and time. So trust, have faith. You're not alone, even if you might feel it. Somebody said to me, you're never alone, you can't be alone. If you feel alone, you call me. Which always made me laugh, because obviously if you've got someone to call, you're not alone. I can feel that person's energy really strongly as I say that now. So yeah, same goes to you. You're not alone, you can't be alone. If you're alone, you call me. So this is a time for integration, recalibration, maybe a bit of soul retrieval, which if you want as well, I can offer that online, or if you come to Peru. So yeah, integrating, recalibrating, and probably not just from this life, other lives, other timelines, other dimensions. So this is big work you've taken on. Thank you for taking this work on. Big spiritual lessons are still taking place for all of us. We can't just go back to sleep now. So those big spiritual lessons, how does that feel for you? Where is that happening in your life? Is it happening in your career, in your relationships, in your family? Where are those big lessons? You probably say everywhere, right? But if you're an astrologer, you can check your chart and seeing what's being triggered, what area of your chart's being triggered by saying it's not Cancer. Well, yeah, but if it's not Cancer, which is it? I don't know. I'm not an astrologer. They're saying Pisces, but I don't know what I'm saying, so I'm a bit reticent to say it. But maybe check if Pisces is doing something in your chart. That might give you some guidance. All right, so where are you feeling strong energies from either direction? Like towards the positive, towards the negative? And what are you doing with that energy? And just see how far you've come in your life, baby. Feel validated. Validate yourself. Feel good about yourself. Take care of yourself. You're a star. Okay. See if there's anything else. And no, we're done. Well, thank you very much for joining me on this podcast episode. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you find it useful. Do let me know. And like I said, I've got Patreon for the moon ceremonies. If you want to do those regularly, they're really good for keeping you in alignment and in flow with the cycles of nature of which you are part. I can offer therapy sessions and shamanic sessions online. You can come to Peru, got dieta. Already explained at the top what happens in a dieta. Trying to find the time to do a podcast on what is involved in a dieta, but it's just an all-round beautiful experience that can really help you to make some breakthroughs where you've perhaps struggled. And what we really care about is helping people who have really tried to help themselves already. So this is our life. So we don't just bring people in who are tourists. And I mean to use that word in a way that people who are just sort of sensation seeking. So people who are just, I want a new experience. No, we're really interested, and where our heart is really helping people who want to make breakthroughs and care and love and have respect for the plants and the spirits and what they're offering us on our journey. Yes. What else? I think that's probably about it. So hopefully see you soon. As I said, do reach out, let me know how you're doing. And it'd be amazing if you want to come to that dieta, or if that date doesn't work for you, have a look at maybe organising one yourself, just getting a group of people together, and we can look into accommodating those dates for you. So anything's possible if you feel that call to come out here, and it would just be wonderful. So sending you so much love, sending you all the rainbow powers. I will be heading back into the jungle in a couple of days, but I'm sure I'll be back. I'm sure we can tune in across the other frequencies if we want to. All right, so big love. See you soon. Okay, my lovelies. Just take a few minutes to ground yourself, whatever you're doing, if you're out and about or at home. Just tuning into each other's energy, frequencies. I always find it's quite nice to breathe in through the nose for 5 beats and out through the mouth for 7. If it's safe and if it's comfortable, close your eyes maybe. I'm just feeling into the environment that you're in and checking in with where you're at, really. This helps me to kind of get Nancy out of the way a bit and essentially channel that energy that we want to call in now for this Cancer new moon time. So the energy update will be for the days leading up to, during, and a few days after the Cancer new moon, also known as Moonchild. Okay, so this is a pretty fertile energy. It's focused around that divine feminine within. It's associated with motherhood, intuition. And Moonchild really rules the chest area of the body, the chest area, the stomach, the womb, the breasts. So having a positive attitude towards the body in this area of the body and around reproduction, parenting and kids is really important, especially at this time, because there's more energy behind that, so you want to keep that energy positive. Okay, they're coming in now. So this is a time for deepening energy practices, so such as energy visualization, meditation, breath work. Being really aware of your environment, and self-care is a real priority. It's a time to really look at that. How is your self-care routine? I always say it's a full-time job. You've got to fit your life around your self-care, and that's because I'm historically not very good at it. Cleansing. So I've said before, showering or bathing in lime juice, or with some lime peel is quite a nice way to clean your energy. Oh, making flower waters, bathing in those. So, if you know about foraging and you know about plants and stuff, go and pick some of those nice smelling leaves and flowers and rub them between your hands into a bucket of water, leave them out to soak overnight, and use that to clean your energy. It's really nice. We do that here a lot. Okay, so a reminder now, they're saying don't take on what's not yours. They're showing me a picture of a massive suitcase landing on top of somebody. Don't take on what's not yours. The baggage, essentially, of other people, I would imagine, is the message here. So once again, the B word, boundaries. Our boundaries must have been really out of whack. That this has been an ongoing theme for so long now, the boundaries. Okay, got to put yourself first. No one else can really do that for you. So once you put yourself first, other people will start to put you first. And there might be more around speaking up when you need to, when you feel ready to do so. Okay, and feeling that divine feminine within you, feel it into it within yourself. So it's like intuition, nurturing. And what are you ready to bring into your life? Okay, so taking some time to go within and feel what wants to emerge from within yourself. So, you might be feeling tired. It's an ongoing theme, isn't it? So, do sleep, rest, take a breather, stare at the ceiling if you need to, and trusting and honoring what you need. Okay, so if you don't feel safe, if you're not feeling safe now in your life, for example, this could apply to anything, but they're using this one of safety for some reason. Where are you not giving yourself safety or creating a safe space for yourself? Okay. And giving yourself some comfort. So if anybody's still looking outside and blaming and that kind of victim mentality of why is this happening to me, blah blah, what are you not giving to yourself? Okay. So there's quite a nice, calm, gentle, perhaps easier energy around, so that we've got space and time, a bit of space and time to do that, going within, giving yourself that comfort, so that you can come back to your truth and come back to yourself. Okay, and so there's an energy for moving something forward, yeah? And there might be some anxiety around that. Hang on, let me see if I can find some more of that. Yeah. So if there's anxiety about moving forward, you just got to jump in. So maybe it's time for some kind of, might feel like a risk because it's something new. So you might feel uncomfortable and you want to think it all through and blah blah blah, but just do the thing. To see it as an adventure. There's no wrong turns. You can't get it wrong. Yeah. So if you don't know already, learning and knowing the difference between intuition telling you not to do something or just anxiety that's kind of getting in the way. So because they can sometimes feel like the same thing, right? um and it might be different for you, but for me the difference between those two things is that when it's your intuition, it doesn't give you all that brain stuff, it doesn't make a noise. Yeah, the truth doesn't make a noise. So it'll be like a yes or a no, or I don't know. But with anxiety, the mind will give you all the reasons and and send you around in circles. So if you're not sure about that difference, maybe that's one way you could look at it. All right. All right. So yeah, this kind of nice suave energy. It's showing me moving up though, but I think that's a little bit further down the road. The energy's building up towards something. So enjoy this right now while you can. That's not meant to sound like a threat. I think it sounded like a threat. Just like enjoy every moment, right, wherever you are on the wave. We are recalibrating with the level of the amount of expansion that has taken place. There's a recalibration process, and that some rest for the human body. All right, so the yawning is coming hard and fast. It's a channeling symptom for me that I would like to cure, but anyway, acceptance is key. So there might be a lesson coming up about getting to know yourself a bit better, perhaps especially where emotions are concerned. All right, so in this nice time when you create in your safe space where you're going to have a bit of you time, you can look back at your emotional timeline all the way back to childhood. I'm a therapist as well, and this is something we call timeline therapy within the hypnotherapy realms. Timeline therapy. So you kind of imagine your life like it's on a timeline. It might be a road, it might be a piece of string, it might be a ladder, whatever it is, and you can go back and revisit parts of your life. In the shamanic world, is soul retrieval. So yeah, you can spend some time kind of visualizing on that, feeding into that, and some light might be shed on some things for you now around your connections. They're showing me a family all sitting together in in a house in the Andes, actually. So connections with close family from your infancy. So where our connections and bonds around emotions are formed in childhood, um, we can carry them through our whole life. So yeah, you might, if you do this exercise, you might be able to complete some, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like a cycle, but completing all I can see is a circle. Okay, I'm gonna have to use that word, but like a cycle of understanding yourself. Oh, that's why I do this thing, or I feel this way, or I retreat, or that's why the dynamic is that way with a parent. So this can be really, really healing to do an exercise like this. And the energy is there now from the cosmos to support you in that, for those revelations, for those illuminations. Okay. All right. So they're saying to make a list of your uncompromisable needs. So things that you need for yourself, for your happiness, that you won't compromise on. Just 5 things. Don't have to get complicated. These things that you won't compromise on, and then give them to yourself. So that's the first stage of this exercise, your homework. What do I absolutely need for my basic state of equilibrium and peace and happiness? And give them to yourself. So if you're sourcing them from outside, then it's not limitless. It's not a limitless supply. All right. So this is about reconnecting with yourself and what you want to kind of aim for in your future, which doesn't exist yet. Spoiler alert. All right. So, do you feel like you found your tribe? Do you feel like you fit into your family? Do you feel seen? Do you feel heard? What's going on there? How much of yourself are you hiding from the people that you're supposed to be closest to? So, looking at all of that, showing me someone looking at a photo album. Looking at all of that, what is being reflected here that needs to be released in your everyday life? What parts of yourself are you shutting down because you're too scared to really be yourself with certain people? So, like rediscovering your vulnerability. Are you shutting people out or shutting down your emotions in any area with any people? Because quite often, when we feel like stuff is happening to us and we don't know why, it's because we're doing it to ourselves on some level. It's weird. All right, so that kind of bird's eye view. The condor in the Andes. Like that detachment, that overview of your connections. It's time for you to feel safe. It's time for you to be yourself. And you are in control of that. And if you're not taking full responsibility for your happiness, it's really time for that. Others are not responsible for making you feel safe, loved, blah, 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 blah. They're not responsible for that. Yes, it's good to have people around. We can take care of each other. All of those things are really important. If you're not prepared to give it to yourself, how can you expect it from somebody else? Until you feed whatever that thing is in yourself, that need can never be met by somebody else or something else. So with that in mind, there may be some triggers around the family, or illumination, should I say, with family. Maybe a little forgiveness ceremony with parents, family. And that could be as simple as writing a letter to whoever you need to say your piece to and releasing it, burning it, and asking the fire spirit to take that and transmute it. Grandfather fire, you can find your own way to ritualize these things, to release them from your soul so they're not chipping away at you. And what you feel is valid. It's very important to say that. What you feel is valid, whatever it is. There's no judgment. It's just valid, okay? And it helps to accept that you chose these contracts before you came here. So it was to learn something. Your soul was learning stuff, right? So if there are difficulties or things that have come up, maybe even painful things, traumatic things that have been difficult to look at and release or whatever, Remember that you chose it for a reason, which means you can pass your own test. If you wrote the test, you can pass your own test. Just take your time, be patient. I don't like the word heal because you're already healed, you're already whole, you're already enough. But that's the sort of, for the sake of language, heal it and release it. Showing me Jack and the Beanstalk. The Jack and the Beanstalk have golden beans. They're saying, find the golden beans in the difficulty. Oh, my mind's going crazy now, like mixed up with the golden ticket of Willy Wonka. Imagine finding golden beans in your beans, and then you can go to the bean factory. Anyway, find the golden beans in any difficult initiation processes. Those things that have happened in the past that have been really difficult or painful, they've done their bit towards making you brilliant and unique. And when you become an alchemist, that's when that beautiful transmutation and transformation, those processes take place. And you are in a better place to serve others. And you serve others by serving yourself. So serve yourself. All right. So usually I would stop here and continue the rest of the podcast just for Patreons. But today I'm going to do a complete episode so that people who aren't on Patreon yet get an idea of what they've been missing out on. So we'll carry on now. So as well as understanding, okay. So in this process, and maybe coming up over this moon, understanding yourself better. So perhaps you develop some coping mechanisms in your childhood that no longer serve you, essentially. So this could be a really deep and emotional awakening. So just remember to really nurture that inner child. If you've been neglecting them, giving yourself that safe space to honor yourself and nurture that child that maybe didn't get what it needed in certain moments and during that time. So this is like panning for gold, showing me that now. So a lot of beautiful nature imagery for me today. Really grateful for that. All right, so yeah, breathing through it all. Breathing through it all. There's a flow and a cycle to every aspect of this this kind of computer game that we're all in. So there is a flow, there are cycles. So it's getting into the rhythm with those, and you do that by getting out of your own way, by giving to yourself, by knowing how to soothe that parasympathetic nervous system in your physical body. And if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like it's a bit too vulnerable, give yourself self-care, that full-time job, remember? And if there are people around that you don't feel vulnerable, you don't feel like you can be vulnerable with, just stay away from them right now. You can look at that later, but right now, just really looking after yourself like you would. You got a new little pet, be looking after it, you know? Be your own pet. It's a new movement. Okay. Oh, what's this?